It is moments like this that you're glad Howie Roseman is your GM. Jeffrey Simmons could be available for trade. Eagles Nation, we all see it. We all look. We all know this is the Howie Roseman type guy that he would pull the trigger for.
Dallas still stinks.
Yo, my way, King Dingbat here, and Jeffrey Simmons, oh my, Jeffrey Simmons, he wants out of Tennessee too, and Howie Roseman is just the guy to do it. Bring him to Philly, Howie. That's what Eagle fans are saying. That's what Eagles Nation is saying. And he is the perfect type guy that Howie Roseman would pull the trigger for. And I believe he would pay randomly for him. Now, before we get into it, if you're new to the channel and you like the content, make sure you hit that like button. More importantly, make sure you subscribe to the most censored, most throttled Eagles content creator in all of the internet. And if you've been subscribed for a while, I just want to thank you guys so much for all the support you give to me. It truly, truly means a lot. I couldn't do it without you guys. You are all in the family. You pricked your finger, you took the oath, and you're part of Dingbat Nation, and there's no getting out for life. So thank you very much. Now, it's Sunday, and I thought I was going to have a fairly easy Sunday. I was going to chill out, hang out with the family. I had to do a video on the chair I just got, which I absolutely love. And then I did a regular video about Howie and my thoughts on the way he now approaches the draft, as to when the way he approached it years before. And, and I'm sitting there, I thought I'm done. I'm sitting there kind of talking, sweet talking my wife. Hey, yo, baby, this body was made to give you pleasure, ready to go make some babies. And I'm thinking, here we go, Philly 500's working his magic. And then I go and I check my comments in my last video, and it's Jeffrey Simmons, Jeffrey Simmons, Jeffrey Simmons, Jeffrey Simmons, Jeffrey Simmons. My Twitter DMs, Jeffrey Simmons, Jeffrey Simmons, Jeffrey Simmons. My email, Jeffrey Simmons, Jeffrey Simmons, Jeffrey Simmons. I'm like, oh man, people want to talk about this. This cannot wait till tomorrow. This has to come out tonight. And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm kind of a little excited about it, because this is Howie Roseman all over the place. Let's just face it. Now, as we get into it, we've got to say this. I don't know how Howie pulls some of the things he does. I don't know how he maneuvers some of the cap he does. He calculates the calculation of the cornbread, but he gets it done, okay? And now we're learning that that Jeffrey Simmons might want out, right? Here's the rumor. Titans GM Rand Carthon desires to do a full rebuild. All veterans will likely be available for the right price, including defensive tackle Jeffrey Simmons. This has led to Jeffrey Simmons unfollowing the Tennessee Titans and removing all related images from Instagram. All right? All related images. That's a man that says, I'm done. I'm out. I don't want none of this anymore, okay? And, when you think about the kid, the position he plays, we're talking about possibly hoping that Jalen Carter falls to 10 to get a defensive tackle that could, we hope, only be as good as Jeffrey Simmons is right now. Okay? ESP, that's what he calls himself. He says this. No trade in the NFL screams Howie Roseman more than a trade for Jeffrey Simmons. That I agree with. Foundational position he believes in. Position of need for the Pound Eagles. Not hashtag. Only 25 years old and 1 year left on his deal. Howie Roseman loves absolutely 1,000 zillion %. Loves the last year of contract guys. He loves those guys, okay? So this has all the makings of something Howie Roseman would definitely be interested in. And Jeffrey Simmons, he's 6'4", 305 pounds, 25 years old, okay? He had 25 tackles last year, 7.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble, okay? Listen, we just lost Javon Hargrave. He had, 11 sacks last year. I believe Jeffrey Simmons, I believe he has the ability to get double-digit sacks. I'm not saying every year, but I always think he's going to be around that 7 to 9 area, and I think he can hit 10 sacks and stuff like that, especially if he was playing next to a guy like Jordan Davis. Obviously, this would be a great fit for the Eagles. This would be something Howie Roseman would absolutely love to do. The question is, can he do it? Okay? The first thing we have to ask ourselves is this. What would the Titans want for Jeffrey Simmons? I can't imagine it being less than a first-round pick. They're going to at least ask for it, right? And if you're the Eagles, you can't give up that 10th pick, because that's what Tennessee is going to do. They're going to call up, and Howie's going to be like, hello, this is Howie Roseman. I've been calculating the calculations of the cornbread. You live in Tennessee, and it's in this parallel longitude, latitude of 32 degrees north, 37 west. And, the sun will be setting in 22 minutes, but I got to trade before that happens. And, they're going to want to wheel and deal with Howie Roseman, but they're going to ask for that 10th pick. They're going to ask for the 10th pick overall, and you can't do it. And the reason why you can't do it is not because he's not a good player. It's not because he's not better than all 10 of those people. It's because of the contract. Because in order to get this done and to make it work, he has to be extended. You're going to have to sign him to a long-term contract. Howie's not going to go out and give a first-round pick for a guy who's going to only play 1 year and leave. That can't happen. So you're going to have some sort of contract extension worked out with this guy beforehand. So the 10th pick is out, okay? Now, if you want to say the 30th pick is there, I think that is the perfect pick to offer to the Tennessee Titans. We'll give you the 30th pick overall, and we'll throw in a mid-round pick next year or something like that. And we want Jeffrey Simmons. Now, if the Titans accept that, you get one of the best interior defensive linemen in the league to go with one of the young guys in the league, and you have Fletcher Cox for 1 year, then he's gone. Milt Williams, good rotational guy. I mean, it makes sense. We all know that this trade would make total sense for the Eagles, and it's something Howie Roseman would pull. I would not be surprised if the Eagles are very aggressive trying to do this. Now, is Tennessee going to be scared? Are they going to be like, we ain't messing with this Howie dude, man. He runs circles around us. Howie ran circles around them in the A.J. Brown trade. I mean, the last game got fired over it. So, we would see. But I would be willing, on a personal level, I would be willing to give up the 30th pick. The second issue and problem you're going to have to get through is the contract. How are you going to afford to pay this guy? You figure Javon Hargrave, made $22 million, something like that, as a defensive tackle, same position as Jeffrey Simmons, but Simmons is, 5 years younger than him. So Simmons is younger than him. He didn't maybe have as many sacks, but for all circumstances and everything surrounding Jeffrey Simmons and Javon Hargrave, I think Simmons is in some ways more valuable because of his age and because of what he can do. He's much better against the run than Hargrave, and he gets enough sacks that I think he has potential to get a double-digit sacks. He had 7.5 sacks last year. So people look at it and they'll say, well, the $10.5 million cap hit this year, that's great, but you got to have a new contract. He ain't coming without a new contract. So that's the question. What would it cost to extend him, and can Howie make it work? Now, the one thing about Howie Roseman, he knows how to manipulate these contracts. He knows how to make it work for the Eagles. And if Jeffrey Simmons would be up to it, I think that you could possibly see a deal. I would say this, and this is going to be honest. I don't know the salary cap like Howie Roseman. Nobody really does. And I don't know how he would make it work, but I know that if he really wants to do it, he can do it. He always shows you he can find a way. We could be $18 million over the cap, and then 2 weeks later, we got $40 million under the cap. This is Howie Roseman, Howie vision. We're all just living in it. So he can make it work. And I think he would for a guy like that. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens, because I do think more than Kevin Byard, I think the Eagles would pursue Jeffrey Simmons if given the opportunity. Now, I vaguely remember, maybe you guys can remind me, but I vaguely remember there was potential chance that he was going to become a free agent or something, and then he signed or something happened. He was free. I forget, but there was already links and talking about how the Eagles would love to pursue him. So I could totally see this happening. Could totally see it. Now, here's where I'm going to go with this. All right? Here's where I'm going to go with this. If, for some reason, the Eagles were able to get Jeffrey Simmons with the 30th pick, because I would use the 30th pick and another pick, not the 10th. All right? Figure out a way to get him signed to a contract. Now, with your 10th pick, you realize what we've just opened the door for, right? You realize what has to happen right now, right? You realize what has to happen. It has to. It has to. You have to draft number 5 at 10. You have to take Bijan Robinson at 10. He will be there at 10, and you take him at 10. Now, you have Bijan Robinson on your offense and Jeffrey Simmons on your defensive line. You're actually better. Your defensive line is better than it was last year. It's better, and you've got a kid 5 years younger. All right, your defensive line would be better. Your run game would be better. The Eagles would be better. The combination move of Jeffrey Simmons and drafting Bijan Robinson puts you in the Super Bowl. You probably win. You probably win it. That's how big this would be. Now, there's a lot that got to happen. Here's what I expect from the Titans. They're going to come back and say, we're not trading him, we're not shopping him, and there's a lot of rumors, a lot of bull crap and all that stuff. But then they're going to secretly take offers and listen to offers. The offer you want to come in with is that 30th pick overall. That 30th pick and then a mid pick or whatever. Get it done and then figure out the contract extension. The Eagles can figure it out. Howie, this is what he's good at. This is his strong point, making it work. He can make it work. And Jeffrey Simmons, to me, I think there's no linkage and there's no rumors. Let's get that straight. There's nothing pointing to the Eagles pursuing him right now. There's nothing pointing in that direction. But it just makes total sense. It just is the total Howie Roseman thing. There's no question about it. You see why I couldn't just say, I'll talk about it tomorrow. I had to come do it again right after putting a video out? Because this is Howie Roseman. All right? This is Howie vision here. This perfectly fits him. And I'm telling you, if you take Jeffrey Simmons and you trade for him and you got him, you've got to draft Bijan Robinson at 10. That's the pick, man. Okay? Because Jalen Carter, I'm not worried about drafting Jalen Carter at that point. Will Anderson Jr. is going, I'm drafting Bijan Robinson. And then I'm going to the Super Bowl. All right? I said this at the end of my last video. Bijan Robinson, I couldn't figure out who he reminds me of. For all this time, I've been trying to think, who does he remind me of? Who does he remind me of? And then somebody was talking, I forget what video it was, so I want to give the guy credit. But he's like, Edgerrin James. And I went, oh my gosh, that's it. Edgerrin James. Bijan Robinson reminds me of a young Edgerrin James. And I think it's a great comparison. And if you're going to tell me that I'm going to get a young Edgerrin James with Jeffrey Simmons, we're going back to the Super Bowl. This instantly would make the Eagles better than last year. It just would, in my opinion. I know your linebackers are still weaker. I know that some people are going to have problems with the safety, but you'd still be better because your running game and your offense would be better with Bijan, and then your defense would also be better with Simmons, especially against the run. So I think the Eagles should jump on this if possible. No question about it. There's a lot that has to happen, but this is the type of move Howie would make. There's no question about that. I don't think anybody's going to argue with that, and I think it would almost solidify, in my mind, drafting Bijan Robinson. There would be no other pick at that point, and there shouldn't be. With that said, take care. Talk to you later. Of course, don't be a dingbat. Remember, it's Howie Vision. We're all just living in it. This is going to be a crazy few weeks, a crazy month leading up to the draft. Anything can happen. The Titans are looking to clean house, and if the Eagles can land Jeffrey Simmons, man, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. Now, I have a lot of people asking me about this blue Eagles hat. How do you wear a blue Eagles hat, Philly? Why are you wearing a blue Eagles hat? It's a July 4th hat. All right? And if I feel like wearing a blue shirt, I still could represent my birds. You know what I'm saying? I love it. I love it. I love it. The Eagles come and we take over every color. We own every color. We own everything. We run it. And that's the way it is. Denzel Washington out.